Yeah, so Maury obviously had a really strong pre-season and took a fair bit of confidence out of that, I think. Up until this year, he'd only played a handful of games and was probably on the edge in terms of spots and things like that. And so to see him go on and do what he's done this year has just been awesome from my point of view. Obviously, his work ethic is sensational, and we always knew that he'd work hard and put in the hours, but I think he's now getting some real reward for that on game day, which is awesome.
Last year, but started to improve, and Dylan Moore makes no mistake.
Hawks around the ball. Shields so brilliant. Brockman so exciting. Left boot this time. O'Brien, can he get a sit? Not quite. Still there's Hawks everywhere. Moore kicks the goal. 4 in a row.
Oh, it's huge for the guys around him to have that belief that he can play a role for us. As I said, I think his work rate was always his one wood and a strength of his, but now you get that on game day, and you can really see in the back half of games, in the back half of quarters, that his work rate really stands out. When you've got a guy who can run like that, and in the back end of quarters, in red time sort of areas, he's just putting his opponent to the sword. So from my point of view, it's awesome. It's awesome to see him taking the game on, playing to his strengths, and is now really a pivotal role player for us in our forward line. I think he's sort of underrated, like overhead, and how courageous he is. I think they're underrated elements of his game that he's shown this year why he's been a pivotal part for our side. It takes a little bit of pressure off guys like myself or anyone else in the forward line who, if we can have a number of guys who are contributing every week, then the opposition in their scouting, in their ability to try and defend us, it makes it certainly a lot more difficult. So even Cozzy this year's really stepped up. When you've got guys like Mitchy Lewis, Benny McAvoy's down there, he's hit the scoreboard pretty regularly as well. So if you can have that balance of being dangerous down there as a collective, then it certainly makes it a lot harder for the opposition to really zone in on one guy and shut him out. Yeah, it can be a difficult role to play consistently, and we've spoken a fair bit about that and how I've tried to implement things in my game that work for me. I break quarters down in sort of 15-minute blocks, so if you haven't had an impact in the first 15 minutes, then try and wipe that to the side and then concentrate on the next 15 minutes and what you can do for the side. Inconsistencies around team and all that as well. It's all stuff that's completely out of your control. So we sort of talk about just getting back to the things that you can control. For him, it's work rate, it's contests, putting himself in the right positions, making sure he's staying at the front of the contest instead of flying by and things like that. So we constantly remind each other of that on game day, and he's been awesome for me, but at the same time, hopefully I've given him something as well that he can sort of feed off and work towards.